index will be able to help Kenya establish, when we say a woman is empowered in Kenya, what indicators do you look at to say that a woman is empowered in Kenya? So we hope that that type of work will help us develop that index. And then finally, as you all know, Kenya will be carrying out its population and housing census. And so in 2019, we worked together with the Bureau and UNFPA, who has been leading in this work, to produce a gender dimensions monograph. Just look at the gender dimensions that will come out of the census. But this will be in 2019. And then finally, under data use, we'll support dissemination of these different products that we have produced. This will be done, of course, in partnership with other ministries, departments, and agencies. There's a lot of South-to-South learning opportunities that will be required to look at countries within the region that have best practices. And then most important is that we want to see how we can influence the students that are coming from our universities that are being trained on statistics, especially social statistics, and see whether there's a bit of interest around gender statistics. So we're going to be providing annual research grants to our students in Kenya in different universities. And during the Africa Statistics Day, there are usually a number of activities that take place. So for Kenya, as Mr. Mondi mentioned, a symposium was held this year. For 4 universities, we had at least 200 students to start generating interest around gender statistics. So we'll be launching the annual research grants, and we hope that we have interest for especially postgraduate students from our public universities as a start, to see if then they can benefit from this. And then we'll also be working with civil society organizations. Most important is the SDGs group, which is a consortium of at least 40 NGOs that are working around monitoring of SDGs in Kenya to, again, engage in gender statistics policy dialogue forums. And just the same way we'll be training data producers, we also have capacity building platforms for data users at national and county level on gender statistics. So this is how the work looks. A lot of it is around agreements that we have signed with different state actors, from KNBS, Council of Governors, State Department of Gender Affairs, and also an MOU that we have signed with UNICEF. And that is the level of commitment right now. And just very quickly, is that with the Bureau, so far what we have managed to do is that the technical, the gender advisor is already in place. We've worked with them to disseminate the national gender data sheet for 2017. And the data sheet is produced every 2 years, so we are already now preparing for the National Gender Data Sheet 2019. The Interagency Technical Working Group for Gender Statistics has now been established, and preparation for the launch of the student grants is already ongoing. And then the data producers training that will be taking place this week is what this is what we've managed to do, at least between when the assessment was done and now at the end of the year. And then within the Council of Governors is the the gender data sheets, and the State Department of Gender Affairs we've placed the work that we're doing around, especially dissemination of the products that we have. And then UNICEF, I already mentioned the work we're doing on the score on indicator 5C1 and SDG 5, and the child and women poverty profiles, which is mainly around SDG 2 on poverty. So in conclusion, so we just implemented this program so far in the last couple of months, and we've started attracting strategic partnerships. First is that we are already in discussions with Agricultural Finance Corporation and FAO, which will be our second UN agency to engage in this process, to undertake a national baseline survey to understand access to agricultural finance by women in Kenya. This is still a partnership in discussion, this will be contributing to the agriculture work that I mentioned earlier. And also just recently we came back from Addis, where we were training in partnership with UNIDO, statisticians that work around industrial statistics, which really aligned to Kenya's Big Four agenda. We know that in the Big Four agenda we have health, food security, manufacturing is one of them, and manufacturing falls under industrial statistics. So, and out of this, UNIDO has already indicated that they have interest in working with us around industrial statistics. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that provides a summary of the global, regional, which I highlighted, and the country, just as a flash of some of the high-level gender data in Kenya. You know, women form 51% of Kenya's population. That 1.1% of households in Kenya are female-headed. That 11.1% of all households in Kenya are widow-headed. We know that 36.1% of Kenya's population is below the poverty line, and that if you are a woman, you are young, and you are in a polygamous family, 36.1% is the average of those below. But if you are a woman, you are young, and you are in a polygamous family, your poverty goes up to 48.1%. You know, and that if you take Northern Kenya, Kakamega, Bungoma combined, they provide poverty to this country by about 52%. So that is the concentration of inequality that we have in the country. And rural areas in Kenya are generally poorer than urban areas. But then there are concentrations of poor poverty in urban areas. And children very heavily suffer from poverty. Women earn probably 50% less than what men are paid with the same qualifications, the same type of work we do in Kenya. And then, of course, on the leadership and participation, you know, the two-thirds gender law is not yet passed. We are crossing our fingers. We still have less numbers, especially at the national level. At the county, we have met the constitutional requirements, and we still have a lot to do to sustain that. So, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Yeah, so we open the floor for a few questions, suggestions, before then we close the session. Okay, all the difficult questions to Maureen and our gender advisor at KMBS. Achela, please.
It's not really a question, it's just a comment to say that all this is very exciting. I can see very promising as well. And I see a lot of interlinkages with the collaboration that Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. This is an MOU that we held last year to strengthen data collection indicators, refinement of indicators. And it would be really a missed opportunity not to make sure that these efforts run together, you know, and make the most of obviously existing complementarities. And it's probably a moment of, you know, pride for Kenya National Bureau of Statistics that you can lead these efforts, and just a commitment on the UN side to really sort of provide you with any support you may need, because globally this can really provide inspiration and a model to other countries. Thank you.
Okay, collaboration opportunity there. Any other comments, questions?
Thanks a lot for that presentation. And it's really exciting to know that UN Women is moving in this direction, because that has become a major key thing in decision making, especially for if you want to do strategic planning. For Jasmine, and also to Jasmine and to Maureen. First, Jasmine, you raised 3 challenges in localization of SDGs. I was just wondering, one of the challenges is access. What about lack of awareness and sensitization as another key challenge? Because in our context, we have realized you can access, but people are not aware and are not sensitized. Or you need also just awareness first and sensitization for people to access, to generate demand for people to access that data. So I don't know at the global level how that is being addressed, because here is a big issue. And we look at the 2 components differently, access and awareness and sensitization as 2 totally different things. Access we find is always for privileged, like especially for national statistics. very few people, I can say the elites, they know how to access those statistics. Some elites do not know, even at my level, I might not be aware of many statistics and studies that the unit has done. So we need that awareness to generate demand. And also the second thing, that awareness is critical to generate a critical mass of people to demand for accountability. So I thought that is the key things perhaps we need to look at.
Right, thank you, colleagues, for the presentation. Maureen, I'm curious as to the narrowing of focus to agriculture. I know a decision had to be made one way or the other. If you could just shed some light on why agricultural financing. Thank you.
Pardon?
Thank you, colleagues and guests as well for the contribution this afternoon. My question is very simple. From both the presentations, I noticed that we are trying to engage with a number of key stakeholders, but forgive me, maybe I didn't miss out. I see that there is a critical stakeholder that is missing here, and that is the private sector. I think in every element of our work, whatever we do, whether it's leadership, whether it's economic empowerment, whether it's business security, or whether it's agriculture, for the sector has already highlighted, we need to engage with the private sector and get our, beef up our availability of data from that perspective as well. So it shouldn't be just NGOs and government and the Bureau, but another key part.
Okay.
Thank you for such great presentations. We really appreciate. And to just make a comment that UNEP actually is working on suggested indicators that you mentioned specifically for 6.1.1, and that we have a report coming out. It's actually in draft form, which we can be able to share with you, because as already the OHCR representative spoke about the work that already other agencies are doing too, so we can actually share with you that report so you can be able to see some of the suggested indicators that we had already given, not only to IAEG, the Interagency Expert Group on Gender Statistics, and of course we're sharing also widely. And to Maureen, I had a comment concerning the work that KNBS is doing on IMIS, and also just wondering, because already that's a very key tool to generate data, specifically gender statistics data. I'm wondering how you're using some of the already available tools, and I didn't see it on the slide for data production, and I'm wondering how you're also working with KNBS with the already existing tools. Thank you.
Trying to pick all questions, comments, so that we have one round of response. Okay, so I think you guys have captured those. OHCHR, I think it was a comment around the collaboration well taken. AWC first, Maureen, you want to pick on that and awareness?
No, I think when it comes to awareness, like any other program, we need to just see what is possible. For now, I think the challenge has been that I know the Bureau right now is updates every, any type of work they're doing. When you go to the Bureau's website, you will find it there. But who has access, for instance, to even data to be able to get into their website? So in terms of dissemination, partnering, of course, with county governments and non-state actors, and that's why we have a key output just around working with civil society organizations, so that the different platforms of public participation that we are able to disseminate this information. So, and then of course we'll just, for this program, to the extent that this program can reach the SDGs forum, is going to be our entry point into the consortium. It's a consortium of 40 NGOs. You want me to respond to all the other issues as well?
Yeah.
So when it comes to James' question on why agriculture, First of all, agriculture is fully devolved in Kenya. It's one of the two functions that's fully devolved for us. So we had to, first of all, look at leveraging on domestic resources that exist. Of course, a program like this will not reach the entire, an entire sector. But, we already have government commitment in terms of technical and financial capacity. So it only made sense that we leverage on that and show value for money. And then, of course, the participation of women in the sector, either as managers or owners of resources, natural resources. And then agriculture contributes 35% of the GDP in Kenya. So its contribution to the economy, in terms of impact, this would be a sector that would be, be able to demonstrate results within the period of the program. And then finally, of course, for you and women at the global level, there's a focus on agriculture around our women's economic empowerment work. So, based on these four issues, that's why agriculture was seen to be a critical area. But even if it was a global focus for us in Kenya, it's fully devolved and it only makes sense that we leverage on that investment. On the question of IMIS, I will let Mr. Musimi or Monji respond to it. And I don't, the others were mainly comments. I will take them questions. And then maybe Jason.
Yeah, it's maybe one big.
Okay, thank you. Just to respond to some of the comments on awareness and sensitization. And yes, those are very valid points. And I think in the design of the global program on making every woman and girl count, the third outcome specifically actually addresses this in the sense that we do not stop at data access, but rather the outcome is really on data access and use. So that, and with the use part of that outcome, there is an underlying, it's already implicit that awareness has been created and then sensitized as well among data users. But as to specific interventions, specifically at the country level, I think it was mentioned also earlier by Maureen that for example, the collaboration between users and producers, that in itself provide awareness both from both ends. Like I was coming from an NSO before, and as with that collaboration, I myself was also increasing my statistical appreciation in terms of knowing what would be policy relevant in terms of the statistics that data producers should be producing, and the other end, the data users would know what are the available statistics. So I think this user-producer dialogues that Maureen has mentioned, the interagency technical working group on gender statistics, it provides room for awareness and sensitization. And more specifically, I think Maureen has mentioned specific interventions on trainings of both data producers in outcome 1 on enabling policy environment and training of users in outcome 3 for data access and use. And we hope that through this statistical capacity building and increasing their statistical appreciation, we are fostering awareness and sensitization so that access will translate to actual use of statistics. And then second, engaging with a number of stakeholders. Yes, very valid point in terms of private sectors at the global level. Just to share with you a specific experience from Bangladesh. When they were doing the national assessment, part of the stakeholders that was engaged with was the private sector, particularly the Chamber of Commerce. So in that assessment, it was very clear that informal employment, informal sector is something that is lacking in terms of a gender lens, in terms of compilation with a gender lens. So in the design of their program, it was very specifically identified that, that private sector and then those very relevant to private sector and statistics very relevant to this sector are being addressed in this program. So as I said, the program is producing interventions depending on country-specific context and depending on the issues raised during the assessment. And then thirdly, on the point by our colleague, from UNEP, thank you and thank you, and we welcome this news that the report is coming out quite soon, and then it will address more gender sensitive or more gender responsive monitoring of the SDGs, particularly with gender and environment at play. I was sharing my earlier experience in terms of last week there was a global forum on gender statistics. countries have presented their efforts on gender and environment. And more often than not, and not surprisingly, there are many gender gaps as far as this area is concerned. But I think what is striking to me at the time was that many of the presentations were presenting efforts made by the Interagency Committee or Technical Working Group on Environment Statistics. And I was saying, where is the Interagency Technical Working Group on Gender Statistics at play? So it's more of making sure that this sectoral coordination mechanisms, separate coordination mechanisms, are actually coordinating themselves with ensure that gender and poverty is being addressed. So this welcome news from UNEP, and we hope to have more discussions and follow-up discussions with UNEP on this. And then lastly, just a comment on the human rights from our human rights colleague. I think to our friends from KNBS, this is also a welcome news in terms of the new area of work that the KNBS is working on. Human rights indicators is basically an area, an emerging concern not normally tread on by national statistical offices. So it is a welcome news for us that that you will be working on this. And as our colleague from the human rights have mentioned, this is something that we hope that we can further have discussions on, so that hopefully this can inspire other countries, including possibly hopefully our other Pathfinder countries, to work on similar efforts. And just to share with everyone at the global level, we also have this. Maureen has mentioned partnerships with various UN agencies. At the global level, we have a partnership, UN Women and WHO, particularly on improving the compilation of violence against women statistics. And this is mainly supported by USAID. And we welcome this. We've welcomed this initiative in ensuring that that in the past some countries would be producing statistics only on domestic violence. But this initiative is to ensure that violence against women, the prevalence of all types of violence, will be compiled. So I think this is just some information that I would like to share. Thank you.
Maybe Ernest, before we go to.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the question about the image, because I know this is that's a database that is used for dissemination of census and surveys that are normally done.
Not only is it dissemination of censuses, etc., but it's also a very good tool where you can get gender statistics. So my question is that how are you making sure that you make use of the existing tools that are in place to make this program, finally, to see the end of making sure that you use that statistics to actually get to the users and etc.
I think what will happen is that we are going to look into it and see how we can integrate the program so that we have at least one tool that is used for dissemination or something like that. And also the issue of gender part and parcel of it. There's an issue that was raised by the reporter, which I think is really important, the lack of access and awareness. I know statisticians, we are normally blamed that we have a problem of communicating. This is normally an issue, because we produce numbers, but those numbers, if they are not explained, then you can't be able to understand. And most of the time, reporters and journalists have problems interpreting the numbers. So this is really a concern, and I think it's a genuine concern. So in terms of any program that you're coming with, I think the issue of dissemination and publicity of the program is really key. And we really need to take it forward, that we try to make it simple so that we make Kenyans aware. Not only Kenyans, but everyone, in terms of the sort of statistics that are produced. Then, number two, at KNBS, we are now currently working on a communication strategy, because we've also realized that the sort of statistics that we produce, if we don't disseminate and explain them, then people will try to when you look at the media, how they react or how they look at the numbers, in terms of explaining the numbers, realize that they explain the wrong things. So I think it's really important that we engage more with the media and the public so that they're able to understand and appreciate the sort of statistics that we are producing. And we're seeing a lot of the social media being used in terms of statistics. So I think also, even as we need to tap into that so that people are aware that the social media can also be used as a tool to explain and be able to disseminate the statistics that we produce. Thank you.
So maybe Maureen and then Zabib can say something.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. I just wanted to say very quickly, in terms of sustainability, if this program was not to continue after 2020, if the Standard Chartered of Accounts is updated to have codes on gender and we're able to track the level of investment of gender in the country, that is, one of the high impact areas for this program. And then secondly, of course, it's time use. It will be the first time that we'll be doing it, and the discussions to see how we can make sure that when we carry it out, that it will have a national perspective. And then finally, the Women Empowerment Index. But what I wanted to say that might be of interest to our other colleagues is that the methodological work that Jessamine said is being done at headquarters level. For indicator 5.51b, that looks at the number of women represented in national parliaments. Initially, countries will just report UN Women and IPU, who are the custodian agencies of this indicator. We'll just say how many women are in national parliaments. But UN Women has been able to move Section B into Tier 2, which means that now we are able to report the representation of women at local government level. But what is important to us is that when we are reporting women at local government, when you look at the metadata, it says that we only report on women who are in legislative bodies, and that poses a problem even globally for us, because we've really pushed also for women to be represented at the executive level of county governments. And what is important for us, like for our leadership team, is that electoral management bodies have to be reporting now every 1st of February of every year on this indicator, indicator 55.1b, on the representation of women in local governments, but only in legislative bodies, who for us will be our county assemblies. So that means we cannot report about our governors. I know we really speak about the progress we have made, and also the women who sit in this ministers, the CCs at that level. And then secondly, on indicator 5C1, which is the work we are linking to SCORE, just to show you the level of commitment that Kenya already has a focal point that reports to this indicator that speaks to countries that have a tracking system for allocation and expenditure on gender, equality and women's empowerment, and National Treasury, just like other member states, will be reporting every, I think around September, October of every year, just to show whether a country has now set up a system. So I know for National Treasury, we'll be discussing the focal point, and they have nothing to report, so it's in their interest that as they update the Standard Chartered of Accounts, they'll be able to demonstrate whether they've actually put some type of system to show that Kenya is committed to this indicator. And these two indicators are part of the 128 that KNBS selected for reporting in the next few years. So I just wanted to mention that for the other colleagues that will be here. And then finally, on the work that Jessamine has mentioned on violence against women that we're doing at the global level with WHO, I know the other pieces of work that we might look at in the near future is as we prepare the tools for the Kenya Demographic Health Survey, just to look at the types of, the preparatory work, the questionnaires, to see whether the issues around violence against women and GBV, we can improve in the types of indicators that will come out of the next Kenya Demographic Health Survey. So the reason I bring this up is just to show colleagues how the different types of work we're doing, how it's related to gender statistics. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I think for media, you just need to be aware that component of civil society grants, really the media qualifies to apply for those grants to improve capacity and actually break down data and communicate that effectively to Kenyans. Want to say something?
No, actually, I just want to say thank you very much, because I think we already run over time. Just to say thank you to the panelists, and apologies for not being here when you opened. was coming from the Blue Economy Conference. And also to say thank you so much for the participants. So I hope now you are taking more interest because you are data users, all of you, yeah? So it's not just for KNBS, but it's for everybody. So I hope it was informative, and we will continue with these conversations. I think this is just the beginning. As we progress, hopefully we'll also be able to enlighten more people and get more participation. And lastly, thank you so much to the UN Women colleagues who put all of this together, because it's not always easy to get audience during lunchtime. So thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you. Once the homeowners closed, nothing to add. I think we have